Let's head up north to Egypt now. Plans to initiate the first stage of the initial public offering program of its state enterprises under its new loan agreement with the International Monetary Fund are going to take place in March. Now, under this IMF-backed $3 billion bailout, the IMF scheduled its first review by the middle of March. That then should pave the way for the country to receive the second tranche of a loan worth about $350 million by end March after the fund reviews the results. The government intends to offer minor stakes in a number of state-owned companies under this program. Those stakes will not exceed 25% of each offered company, as we understand it. Egypt told the IMF it aims to raise somewhere between $2 billion to $2.5 billion from selling these stakes in state-owned companies. Let's explore this in a bit more detail. Yasser Hakim joins us now from Cairo with more data on this story. So, Yasser, walk us through the highlights of the list of firms that will have partial stakes floated at the Egyptian stock market.
Well, first of all, the Prime Minister today came out with the statements, and the first amendment we saw today is that instead of the pre-announced 20 listed companies, now he said there will be 32 companies for sale, not 20 as we understood before. He said that there will be around 18 sectors. So he's going more general, going more variety for investors with 18 sectors ranging from petroleum products to insurance to terminals in seaports to electronics, insurance. There's a wide variety, fertilizers and as well as two companies that are military owned, and this is the first time we see military owned companies going out for the private sector. One of them is the Wataniya, a chain of fuel stations as well as bottling company. Both are military owned. So the strategy is going really wide, going on most sectors of the economy, and as well as trying to give more incentives to the private sector by even saying that in some cases there will be a majority for the private sector, at least the management part will be for the private sector, and the state or the government will cede its control over the management of these companies.
So do we know how the rules around how these stakes are going to be sold will work? Are we looking at, say, perhaps a specific amount being fenced off for the domestic market and a specific amount for the international market? Or is it that the domestic market, individual and institutional investors will get priority? How will this work?
Well, it's a mix. And even the Prime Minister said that the details will go case by case. So he did not define or determine which company will be sold in which way. But generally speaking, he said that what we will see are different forms of sales, either through the EGX, the Egyptian Stock Exchange, selling shares for the first time, IPOs. Then you have also stake sales for strategic investors for certain types of companies. So they will be sold directly to investors, not through the EGX. And there's also where you have both. Some will have shares as a mix, and also a private investor, he can take 20% and then it goes to the EGX for 30% and the rest by the state. So he said it will be a mix. What he's trying to do is that trying to get as much investors on board as possible, catering to all types. And he said that he will give more powers to the private sector to even run these companies and give them majority stakes, because they will not want to invest money and pump funds into these companies without controlling the way it will be run, especially that by history, you know that state-owned companies are not well administered. So this is one side. The other side is that he said that we have a plan that some strategic sectors, we will actually, as a government, increase our control, increase our shares and control even more from this. And I think this would relate maybe to gas, to electricity, and some forms of electricity companies. He also said that the target is to get more dollars, to get more hard currency, so the foreign investors are the priority rather than the local. The local will have their share, but the foreign investors will have the priority because the government is targeting $10 billion in this year and also 40 billion within the next 4 years. He said 32 companies now, they can even increase. And he's planning to go with the IPOs of 25% of these companies in the first 6 months. So they're going fast, and the next 6 months, by the first quarter of 2024, he will be selling all or putting into stake all of the 32 companies by the first quarter of 2024. Rama?
All right, so there are some companies, of course, that will be coming to the market for the very first time, but there are also other firms that are essentially already listed. But might we see any additional stake sales from those firms that are state-owned but listed on the EGX?
Yes. Before we were told that all the companies that will be on the list are all new companies, but the Prime Minister also announced that there will be second sales and companies that are already listed. And I give an example. We have the Seedpec, which is in the petrochemicals industry. We have Abu Qir fertilizers. We have the Nasr Chemicals and Alex Bank. Those are all going to see new funds and to try to increase their capital in the next year as well. Besides the new sectors, which is in the insurance, three banks, fertilizers, petroleum companies, we will see them coming into the list, the new list. So we're seeing kind of a new approach, a new strategy, and touching in sectors that were considered taboo for the private sector to have a say or to have a share in it, and now we're seeing that they have been now on the table for the private sector to enter and to target during the next year.
All right, that's going to be an interesting set of companies to watch over the medium term. Yasser Kim joining us live from Cairo. Thank you.